It's Friday. Happy Friday. I'm Russ Kane. This is Men's Radio Station. You're listening to The Daily Show. You know him. You love him. Let's find out which part of the universe our little chum, Phil Dave, is sitting in today. Let's go through the round window. The round window.
Oh, hello.
Yes. So, you're not in the Tower of Power by London Bridge. It doesn't look like your new home because the cabinet behind you looks suspiciously familiar.
Yes, that's right. I am back at my parents' place. Don't panic.
It didn't last long, did it? You actually moved out for about a month.
I got a bit lonely.
I knew this wasn't going to work. I thought, you're sad. You're going to be alone.
Oi.
You're going to miss your mum. And
Sad. How rude.
How did your mother manage to get rid of all the Romanians that she'd sold your room to?
Well, first and foremost, she'd actually hired them out to some Ukrainians, not Romanians.
Oh, that's genius.
So get it
That's
right.
brilliant. So
Anyway.
hang on, let's get this right. The Romanians sublet your old room to Ukrainians.
Correct.
Makes sense. They've got to make money. God's sake, they've
Absolutely.
been displaced.
Yeah.
The world's gone to hell in the handcart. Okay.
Absolutely. So the Romanians sublet it to Ukrainians, which subsequently drove my parents insane.
Insanians, yes. Yeah. Right. And then did a very fast sprinter come along, Usanian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. That's fantastic. Jesus, got an hour of this. Christ. Going to be a long show.
I know what you're thinking. Oh, Mo.
What? Oh. His name's not Mo, is it? The whole thing.
No, well, quite.
The whole thing.
No one saw that coming.
No one saw that. This is coming in from the south of Spain. Michael Burby, buenos dias, gentlemen. Hello, Michael, and our very best
good afternoon to you as well.
Daisy. And Robert Van Buren, a clockmaker to the stars, says this. It was weird last night, Russ. Oh, Jesus Christ. You kidding me? Ooh, that's
appeared in how many dreams do you have? Gracious me. Appeared in 2 of his dreams last night.
Blimey.
Goodness.
Was it any good? Was it nice? Was it horrible?
I feel like we need to get some sort of dream interpreter on or something like that to see what that means.
We do. Dr. Maria Kempenska is a dream interpreter. She interprets dreams.
What do you think it means when you appear in your dreams?
I appear in my dreams every night and I hate it. I have nightmares they're not nightmares like I'm being chased by a monster down a cave or anything. They're always, Christ, you are the monster. I didn't realize it's you. I never put
Surprise!
2 and 2 together. I wonder why the monster had a microphone going, we'll be back right after the break. Don't go away. It's a strange thing for a minotaur to say, isn't it, when you think about it? We'll be back after the break. This is my precious.
Can you imagine? I'm quite jealous of Cyclopses, if you think about it.
Because why? They save on glasses? Or,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, they get 50% off every time they go to the optician.
But it's great because they can save time, go better with 1 or 2. Or in Cyclops' case, it'd be 1 or 2. Better now or now. That's how they do it. Let's say hello to some people.
Do you think they'd call people on an iPhone? Asa says, good morning from Albany. My eldest daughter... What?
Albany.
That's what I said, Albany. My eldest daughter has started her university journey. Well, she got a long way to travel.
Got a hell of a long way to go then, because she's obviously probably going to University of Bath. And Asa's just getting her to the coast and saying, good luck, sweetheart, and just leaving her there on the shoreline. Americans, they don't plan, do they?
Crazy name, crazy gal.
You Phantom, yay! And Lovely Demeter says, I know what will stop your nightmares. Yeah, don't eat cheese before you go to bed. Wah, 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 wah. Oh, look.
Lovely Demeter, you appear to have a photo as a graduate. So have you just completed your university journey?
She has. She's just Leslie. I'll be honest with you. Leslie is only 23 years old. Just hasn't aged well. Yeah, she's only 23. She's just come out with a degree in Chile.
It's essential not to spend too much time in the sun.
Doesn't that
hurt? Doesn't that voice hurt your throat, Russ? No, it does not.
As you can tell, we sound very similar, Eve. So it's easy to mistake.
Eve Phantom not wearing glasses.
Good Lord!
What's going on?
Look who's back.
Yeah.
Ramsey managed to tune in today. My wife is away on a hen weekend in Spain. Maybe she bumped into Michael. Yeah. Funnily enough, I'm photographing some Miss Earth contestants while she's away. I promise to be good.
Yeah, good luck. Miss Earth. What is that? What is Miss
World or Miss Universe or something like that?
Miss Earth. Yeah, but I don't think Miss Universe has ever been. There's never been a contestant from Pluto or Uranus. See how I clean that one up? There's never been a contestant from there.
Well, I'd had something similar. I photographed Miss Hap.
What? Leslie Demeter says it's an honorary degree.
Really?
Yeah, it's great.
What's in?
Crocheting. I don't know. I can't remember. She did tell me, and it went in one ear, and everything in my life went out the other. Honorary degree from my alma mater. That is like Alma Cogan. Dreamboat. No, that was Alma Cogan, not alma mater. For outstanding service.
Me, and us. We are my favorite people. There you go.
We all go together like peaches and cream.
Or bells with a church and a steeple. There you go. Oh, I love that song. I'm going to listen to that later.
It's a lovely song. Alma Cogan, the girl with a giggle in her voice. That's how they sold her. She was marvelous, great friend of the Beatles. Honorary degree from my alma mater for outstanding services to education.
Wait, what have you been educating people in, Leslie?
She's a very clever woman.
No, but I want to know what she's been educating people in.
What's it got to do with you? Nothing. Azadon Brown says Albany.
I'm taking a fascination in our loyal friend of the show's life, and now I'm being told it's none of my business.
You told me I couldn't say that phrase. Well, I haven't used that phrase in about 2 years. Friend of show. Not using that phrase. We're not allowed to use it.
I didn't say we're not allowed to use it.
You know why. Albany, New York. She's a chemistry major.
Oh my!
With a minor criminal. I thought it was going to say with a minor criminal
record.
She shot 3 people, but it was justifiable.
She chucked some acid on them or something. It's what you call a test tube, baby.
I hope Azadon Brown's got a good sense of humor, or we're going to get sued here.
What?
What you just said, she threw
nothing's safe, for goodness sake. I know she didn't throw acid, for goodness sake. She meant it thrown a tantrum, not thrown.
Eve Phantom says,
"Can you do a musical show? More singing?"
No,
I don't think anyone in their right mind wants to hear that.
I can't sing. Leslie Demeter says, "Sex, drugs,
and I won't encourage him." No, sex, drugs, personal, social, and health education. Gracious me.
Well, so that's quite grown up. That is grown up, for sure. So I went to see Ricky Gervais this week.
I'm sorry?
I went to see Ricky Gervais.
No, I heard. I'm just sorry.
What, you don't like him?
Oh, can't stand the guy.
Oh, wow.
He speaks very highly of me.
He loves you, yeah. I'm a huge Ricky Gervais fan. I think he's utterly brilliant. And I was invited to his warm-up show, which you've all piled in on my Facebook page, which is just Russ Kane, and on Twitter, which is at Russell Kane. And it was very, very good. It turned out that my pal runs the venue, so we just walked in, which was fantastic. And Ricky Gervais has his notes, and it was warm-up, and it was sensationally good. It will upset everybody. The cancel culture wokerati will be throwing themselves off the white cliffs of Dover and wherever's high in America in huge paroxysms. They get very upset. Anyway, so he told one gag, and I won't do the rest, but he said, "I've gone woke now. I've obviously gone woke. So here's my woke joke. Are you ready? A man goes to the doctor and says, 'Doctor, I feel like a pair of curtains.' And the doctor says, 'In which case you are.'" I thought that was genius.
Oh, that's annoying.
That was genius. Pull yourself. Yeah, because he knows he's leading you up to pull yourself together. Pull yourself together, gag. Russ, what is this? Do you mean to tell me you take He's getting now he's not handing out newspapers. He's got some groovy job. Old Claridge is getting a bit lippy.
You're getting a bit bolshy.
He's getting a bit above him.
Do you mean to tell me that you take instruction on radio etiquette from your part-time co-host?
I don't like the word
Wow.
part-time. Part-time's overstretching it. Let's kid ourselves.
If you want to say friend of the show,
no,
then you say it.
It refers
whenever
to
you
it
like.
refers to the worst guest Phil and I ever. Phil and I have interviews. Well, in our careers on radio, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, and on men's radio alone, hundreds of people, and it was the worst guest Phil and I ever had, and we were both in shock, and we were both phoning each other after the show, going,
"What the hell was that?
Did that just happen, or was it?" And I've never spoken to the person since. And interestingly,
and I've been blocked on social media by this person.
Oh, I blocked them straight away. I've
been blocked by them.
You've been blocked. It was nothing to do. I don't think this person had ever met you. It was
No. I have.
No, you did meet this person. Oh,
okay. Yeah. But it's not the point. It's they blocked me on social media because I was so vile. Yeah, clearly,
anybody less offensive than Phil, it would be hard.
I don't know. Actually, to be fair, I can be quite offensive.
Eve Phantom saying, "I recall the show." I read these things out, and just to remind everybody that on David Wimble, the Grand Fromage of Deluxe Radio, there are at least. And I sent Phil the figures, and he was staggered because we were both. I'm going to be absolutely blunt with you. We were both a little skeptical because Wimble said, "Yeah, we got 70,000 people." I thought, I don't think so, but it sounds good, so we'll say it. And then blow me down. He sends all the stats. I posted them,
and on a near weekly basis, it is. It's amazing.
It is actually. It really is. Just on Deluxe Radio, at least 70,000 people tuned in, listening. That's why we read out your comments because they can't see them.
I can't understand why. Seriously. I mean, I'm in the middle of this show and I know what it's like, but you're actually listening to it by choice. It's amazing.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so there was a little hoo-ha because that particular guest turned up
a little
hoo-ha, going back to the worst guest we've ever had. And it was a live show. And the producer said, phone me up. I'm not going to even say the radio station, but it was a big national radio station. Said, "Oh, these are the guests who are on the panel with you. It's X, Y." And I said, "I'm sorry, I can't be with. That'll be. I can't. No."
They'll send out a lynch mob.
I'm not going to do that, please. And when the person found I was on the panel, they vamoosed. So we can't. Absolutely outrageous. Doctor. I think I'm a mini schnauzer. Okay, have a seat. I can't. I'm not allowed on the furniture. You've obviously never met Ebony.
I was going to say, I think you'll find that Ebony's not allowed on the floor, more likely.
Ebony's never on the floor. Ebony is never on the floor. She's 2 feet away from me. Do you want to say hello, sweetheart? You want to come and say hello to everybody? Come on, come say hello. Come say hello to everyone. Come on. There we go. Hang on. Where is she? Here she is.
Hey, Abby.
Here's baby.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, baby. Look at that little thing.
I know.
Love that little face. All right, off we go. Go back there.
She's very cross with you for disturbing her.
She is. You got to say she's permanently cross. She's just got to look. You know, some dogs are like happy.
They say dogs are like their owners. So.
Well, she's permanently pissed off. She just looks permanently pissed off with me the whole time. She's the star of the show. She's the star of my life. Now, this is good news for Paul Claridge. This is a nice little story because we've followed his arc. Yes, it's last day.
Last day handing out papers today. Good gracious me.
Yeah, he's at Victoria Street. So he's got a new job. And he messages me every day and we have a little chit chat. And Paul is one of the nicest people. He beat very aggressive cancer. I mean, it was really bloody awful. He lost half his body weight. How the hell he kept going, God knows. But he's got a fabulous attitude, so positive. And I kept saying, you've got to change jobs. This is just absolutely horrible.
Is he the new host of Art Attack? Are they bringing it back?
Art Attack would be. Oh, I used to love that.
Neil Buchanan.
Thank you, Eve, for that. Yes, absolutely spot on. We can't say that in public. Absolutely right. You are correct with the name. And so Paul Claridge is no longer going to be on the street getting spat at and beaten up for having the sheer bloody audacity for handing out free newspapers. How offensive is? How dare someone give you something for nothing and want nothing in return? How dare they? cheek. What do we got? I don't want that. Sue Sleet up in Fife. How nice to see the lovely Evan. Oh, she's always here. She just doesn't look like being disturbed. She's like
She's
me.
camera
She's
shy.
very private. She's just very she's just very quiet. There we are. So Paul will actually be working in a store. I won't say the name. You'll all be there wanting your bits and bobs, but he'll actually be inside and hopefully not getting spat at, beaten up, and shoved around. Horrible thing. The Ricky Gervais thing. Just to go back to it, I'm not going to say anything else about it. I know you don't like him. It's interesting. I had the pleasure of working with him once. It was only brief because I wrote a script for a charity video, and he agreed to front the charity video for no fee, no expense, just nothing. Just came over, and he was lovely. And having written it, I went along to see it and spent some hours with him. And some people were saying on my Facebook, "Oh, well, I hear he's horrible." I always love that when people say, "I hear he's horrible." I hear is, and I just wrote about, "Have you met him?" ? Have you ever worked with him? I said, I have both times. And he couldn't have been nicer. He really couldn't have been nice. And he was nice to the crew. He was nice to everybody. And that's a big, and Phil and I have met so many people who are lovely when the mic and the camera's on, and absolute monsters. And it's always the ones you don't expect, the ones who are the national treasures and a family favorite and so lovely. And the camera stops rolling and they are vile. Just ask Phil. Vile.
Yeah,
It's such a shock. Even as old and kind of experienced as I am,
more
it's
than
shock.
anything, it's just annoying. That's what I find, because it's just so flipping unnecessary. It's unreal. Because I don't know.
There's no need to be like that. And you think, what kind of person? I always think with the human condition, kind of, what kind of person are you? It's the sort that I won't do business. If I'm having an exploratory, someone says, let's meet up for lunch and talk about XYZ, whatever it might be.
Having an exploratory operation?
Meeting, right? And they're rude to the staff in a restaurant.
Oh, I
won't work with them.
I really hate that.
Because if you're going to do that to someone who doesn't have the wherewithal to answer back and tell you to F off, I'm not interested. If you're going to be so vile, I said, I don't want to do business with you. I'll live without you as a business companion, because I think it's unacceptable. You shouldn't treat people like that. People are people. Be decent. If they're not nice to you, hey, gloves are off. All bets are off. But if they're just doing a job, be pleasant. Why not? Doesn't take any more time. What are you busy doing? Are you counting money? What are you doing?
Well, I've just sussed out how this photo frame works. You see, it's got a calendar in the side of it.
Yeah, I can see.
Well, I was always really put off by the fact that it just sort of said, Monday the 1st, Tuesday the 2nd, and so on and so forth. And I thought, well, that's ridiculous. The first might not always fall on a Monday. How the hell does that work?
I don't know.
Anyway, well, apparently there are several sheets of paper in here, and you can choose the start date of the week.
It's got paper in it. I thought
I know.
That is such a disappointment. I thought you were going to press a button and like everything was going to be with. You have to do this now.
What?
Do you want me to go off and make some toast or something? We're in the middle of a live broadcast to a grateful nation. What does Ramsey say? A female friend works at a football club and told me that recently retired long-standing Match of the Day commentator comes across as a nice guy on TV, but is a complete lech off camera. Oh, it's never the ones you think.
Mm-mm.
When you hear people go, "Oh, he's got a reputation with the lady," "Ooh, you got a reputation," "Ooh," yeah. And you meet someone that they're perfectly nice and they're perfectly well behaved. It's always the people who have no public image of being one for the ladies, and they're just like, you sit there going, "Oh, jeez, really? It's not 1963 anymore, matey. It's not 1955. It's 2022. There is a time and a place." There's a time and a place. What have you been up to, young Phil Dave?
Well, of course, I've been prepping because, as you well know, this is my last Friday show with you for a couple of weeks.
What?
You know this?
No, I don't know this.
You do know. I'm climbing a mountain.
Don't tell me you sent me an email and I said, yes, I've noticed. Oh, Jesus, really? Did you? What?
I'm climbing a mountain. You know
God, you're off to Kilimanjaro. Oh, my God, it's September.
Yes. So this is the last. I'm going next Thursday. Off I trot.
How long you gone for?
2 weeks. So I'll be back on Friday the 23rd with you.
No, but don't go. Bye.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Hang on. So, what exact? Let's go through, ladies and gentlemen, just a position in case you've forgotten. Phil Dave, known for his outdoor prowess,
Really?
his strength, and his love
Oi.
of just nature. Costco aisle.
Now look at you, sarky git.
Your idea of a trek is Costco, going up and down the aisles a couple of times. That's mine. Look, your mother's already saying. Your mother is. You see, your mother's with me. Don't go, Phil. Linda, this is like the worst idea he's ever had, along with moving out. I'll come back.
It'll be fine.
Asadon Brown says, I've had the pleasure of all sorts of celebrities, political figures, and the infamous. My favorite individuals are those that remain authentic and personal. I've also dealt with many inflated egos. Oh my God. There's a fabulous thing on Pop Bitch today.
Who would you say is the most infamous person you have met? Asadon?
Infamous?
Yeah.
Who was nice, or infamous who was horrible?
Well, that's an oxymoron. You can't. I wouldn't have thought you could be infamous. Well, I don't know. I suppose you could be infamous and nice, could you? Actually, you could be, really, because if you think about it, someone like Katie Hopkins, for example, is infamous, but actually, she was one of the nicest people we've worked with.
Yeah, I made a mistake, and I'm going to own up to this. We interviewed Katie Hopkins when we had the studio in Covent Garden, and I asked everyone. They said, "Oh, I'm not comfortable with you putting that out." Not my business partners, by the way. They were absolutely fine with it. But I asked some staff members, and like an idiot, I listened to them, and I should have just done what I wanted to do. She was charming. I don't always agree with what she says, but she's playing a role. Remember that. She's
a panto villain. That's all it is.
She's not actually a Nazi. You know, she hasn't killed anybody. And she plays the role. And in real life, she was very nice. Not aggressive in the least, absolutely personable and charming. It was a big surprise. And then she got across quite rightly, and I really do. I owe her an apology because I should have put that interview out. I should have put it out, and I should not listen to people who are, anyway, they're not even with us anymore. Leslie Measer, guess who's free? Yeah, well, Leslie, that's excellent. You're booked. Phil who? That's showbiz for you. So let me just recap what's happening with Phil, and then we're going to listen to what's going on. Phil.
Thank you, Sue Sleeves.
Is going very short next Thursday to can't even say it with a straight face, to climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
I don't know what is so funny about this.
Sorry, it's killing me. So, Phil,
I've got my walking poles and everything.
Walk us through.
I've been practicing. Basically, what you have to do is you have to do really awkward dad dancing, but you just do it with the poles. So you just do that, right? Get into sort of like a motion where your fists go in circular, right? So it's sort of back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. And then what you're doing is you replace that with sort of empty fists with walking sticks. And that's what you're sort of doing up the mountain. It's kind of like skiing, but the wrong way.
Yeah. Can I just point out, you're going up a freaking mountain. You're not walking across Wimbledon Common. How handy are these poles going to be?
Well,
and what is your intensive training that you've been doing day and night?
Well, I ran up the escalator at London Bridge Station a couple of times.
Yeah, I was there yesterday, London Bridge.
Yeah.
Yesterday, those stairs, and by the end of it, I'm clinging onto the wall, dying here. Yeah,
Leslie, have I undertaken any proper training? No, well, it depends what you mean by proper training, really, because
have you done any altitude acclimatization?
Well, I went up Hampstead Heath a couple of times.
This is it. This you think he's joking? This is it. This is Phil. What have you done to train to Mount Kilimanjaro? Walked up Hampstead Heath. My late mum
so you
walked up Hampstead Heath.
Excuse me. So you tell me then the highest point in this country where I could be practicing altitude. You can't practice for altitude. You either got it or you haven't.
Well, you could have gone to Box Hill and schlepped up and down the hill a few times. That would have been something.
Well, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
I just don't think you.
That's not true. That's not true. I have done stuff. I've even enlisted the services of a personal trainer who's been very strict with me.
Yeah,
and sometimes I've listened.
Yeah, you listening, God. Sue Sleet up in Fife in Scotland near the coast. Have a fabulous trip and be safe. Looking forward to hearing your stories. Oh, God, I'm not. When you get back. Well,
Thank you, Sue. I love an optimist.
Two things. Sue, ever the optimist. It presupposes one, he's going to come back.
It's fine. I've emptied out the fridge just in case.
Oh, thank God. You cancel the papers?
Yeah.
Okay, cancel the milk. Does anyone do that anymore?
Oh.
Can you imagine? People used to go, have you cancelled the paper? I've cancelled the paper. You cancel the milk. I've cancelled the milk. Nowadays,
I've postponed the cleaner.
Used to love the milkman. The milkman was great when I was a little kid.
Well, I've postponed the cleaner. Does that count?
Ah, okay. Are those the cleaners that are living in your ex-room in your mum and dad's house?
Do you know? I'm sorry. I'm just out the corner of my eye. I've just spotted someone has a very snazzy new hairdo.
Yeah, I can see it. It's a very, very nice new hairdo. Very nice. Sue Sleet is saying, "Don't jinx." I'm not jinxing him, but this is a man whose entire training regime is: I've walked across Hampstead, stopped for a coffee, and probably found my car again. This is not the same as slapping up the.
Oh no, I drove up most of the hill.
You do realize there's not a road going up Kilimanjaro. They have pointed that out to you. You're actually walking.
Look, excuse me. I got really breathless changing gears. Do you have any idea how difficult it is? Seriously, when you have to go into low gear all the time to get up a slope, it's really hard work.
Do this. This is the most. This is like me saying, well, next week, by the way, to raise money for Men's Radio, I'm going up Everest. What have you done for it? Well, I've been to the Soho Whiskey Club a couple of times, walked the stairs, said hello to George, sat down on the terrace, had a cigar and a whiskey. I think I'm ready. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've got an exciting new hairdo, a whole new look. You thought glamour could not get any more glamorous.
I also think the picture's frozen.
Oh, the picture's gone. Look, I've just...
Oh, dear.
Oh, no.
Oh, what?
Shunters.
That's a shame.
I wonder why she wasn't moving. I thought she had a sort of Zen.
I thought she'd nodded off.
I thought she had a sort of Zen-like, magnificent... Oh, Andy Lucas has joined. Where have you been, Andy, for a while?
She came around to mine for lunch recently.
Did she?
Yeah.
How come?
I invited her.
The Circle of Death? Don't say that when we're talking about Mount Kilimanjaro, which is thousands of thousands of feet down a sheer drop.
Silly Billy. He's talking about the freezing.
Oh, it's called the... Is that it? Let's see. Is she moving? I can't tell if she's moving. She looks very...
She's moving this time.
I'm going to grab the opportunity.
Oh, Chantal Rickards.
Look at this. Look.
Hello.
$1 million.
Listen, Chanters.
How are you?
Well, more to the point. Well, so the fringe has grown out, and now what have we done? It looks great. Looks fabulous. No, it looks great.
Anything to my hair at all? You are obsessed with my hair. It is exactly the same as it was last week.
Oh, really?
Except a week longer.
Well, we've obviously we've ground to a halt in that.
Obviously, made more of an effort this week then. So.
Oh, yeah, I've brushed it this week.
I had dinner with the chairman of the Chantal Rickards OBE fan club, Mr. Lloyd Beanie, yesterday. We went.
Bless.
Oh, God, he sat there. So tell me about. Well, I said, whatever the answer is, whatever the question is, Lloyd, the answer is no. That's it. That's just the answer is no.
To me, Lloyd Beanie, he sounds fascinating.
It's really not. He sounds better than
fascinating
really is
definitely a word.
That's one of the words.
Oh.
Now, Chantal, you in all seriousness, I want to bounce a question off you. We went to a launch. I said, "You want to come to this launch? It sounds like fun." So I said, "Okay." So we went along to the new, the King's Cross place, which looks like Futurama. It's extraordinary. Went to the Samsung KX, it's called, which neither of us realized until after we'd left. KX, of course, stands for King's Cross. If I had a brain, I'd be dangerous. And it was an amazing place. And it was all about Thunderbird. So I thought, well, they're bringing it back to TV.
I saw that.
Yeah. I kept saying, and then we went into another friend of ours, a journalist,
worth a plug,
Andy Rawl, and shut up. And we all looked at each other, and we're fairly experienced in the. We've only been to about 200,000 launches in our lives.
Stop talking. Stop talking. Chantal's frozen again. There's no point. She won't hear this. You're only going to have to repeat it.
I'll just keep talking anyway. And look at that. At
So
least
good
it's
photo.
frozen.
She's
She
frozen
looks
on,
very
actually,
attractive.
yeah.
She looks very attractive. I'm going to take her off, but because otherwise she'll get cross. Afternoon, gents. David Wimble, king of the southeast coast, and then we've got love the hairshot. Apparently, it's the same. Very nice too. Phil is a good host. Oh, you mean for the lunch? Because he's stop doing that, Phil. Stop doing that. I know you're. Oh, it's a shame. Phil seems to have left.
And
That was
Chantal's
very
back.
good.
So there's
Chantal's
something.
back now. We can see you now. But you're not in your usual abode. You're not in front of all the cups, which is, we know that then you're visiting your brother. You're not
No,
in
I
your
am at my brother's. I am at my brother's, but
But
there's a
another
barbecue
room.
going on. So I'm out of the kitchen and I'm
Right.
in the sitting room. But I'm struggling with broadband. So I was going to
You-
swap between systems.
Do you want to
Just
swap
in
now?
case.
I tell you what, you swap,
Yes.
but can I just say the living room looks sensational.
Yeah, it's gorgeous color of
It's
blue.
lovely.
Is that a duck?
I'll
What do
be
they call
back.
that? Eggshell? No. I'll be back.
You'll be back to say who lives in a house like this.
Like this. Let's look at the clues. There's a lot of books. Does that mean they're well read? I dinner once.
Doesn't
met
mean
someone-
anything of that sort in this house, I can tell you.
No, well, not me. Oh, look at this. Wimble is saying, I don't know why I just call him Wimble.
But then, having said that, I think my parents used to collect the yellow pages, so that meant there were lots of books.
The yellow pages. Do you remember, and I think our audience will, phone books? It was very exciting. The GPO, the General Post Office, would deliver phone books, which would be the London Phone Directory, which was huge. It was in four or six volumes, I can't remember. If you were very posh, you'd put them into a device and you'd fold the phone books down. And I was so excited to see our name, my mum and dad's name and address and phone number. I was so excited. It was like we'd been published. I thought it was great. David Wimble.
We were ex-directory, so I never had that privilege.
Yeah. I know
really
I know a few women have had that. Heading into their London town for the weekend. Made myself laugh at a terrible joke. But if theatre and fine dining, if you're about tonight or over the weekend. Oh, I see. I'm not sure I am. Now let's see if
now
that's
do you know
way
what?
better.
Instantly,
Wow. Look at that. That is
you know
way
what?
better.
Actually, either you've repainted that wall or the camera's better.
Well, this is an iPad camera as opposed to my laptop camera. So
I gotta
you
tell you,
see.
it's a million times better. It's so much clearer. It's great.
I know. Well, iPad cameras are very good. They are
Are
broadcast
they?
quality.
I realise my iPad is 10
I find it
years old.
curious that you didn't think to use broadcast quality in the first place, but let's not dwell on that too much. It's okay.
She's a novice.
won't take it
She's a
personally.
novice. She knows nothing about broadcasting. Right. Now,
Oh, don't. I
know
really
Chantal-
embarrassed myself in front of one of the bosses yesterday. Are you ready for this?
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Here's me. Look, by and large, I know Ofcom law like the back of my hand. Okay.
He
So
does.
Ofcom law, if anyone doesn't know, is the sort of the regulatory body that sort of guides how people can broadcast, what they're allowed to broadcast, what they're allowed to say, what they're not allowed to say, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, part and parcel of it is you're supposed to have a reasonable knowledge of it. I thought I did. I suggested to one of the bosses yesterday, I said, isn't it curious that no one's ever thought to come up with a more casual-based news program in which the newsreader reacts to the news, completely forgetting, of course, that is against Ofcom law. And so he said, well, they wouldn't do because that's not allowed in this country. And I just said, oh, no, I know. But I just said, I think it's a shame that the law isn't relaxed to allow for that sort of thing. I crawled under the nearest rock you could find. I was so embarrassed because I'm not being funny. This is not just a boss. This was one of the bosses who I very rarely have any interaction with. And now I think I know why I very rarely have any interaction with him. But anyway,
Did you hear him muttering, saying, "Who the hell was that?"
No, but I did hear him saying, "Is it P45?" I don't know what's that.
It's a bus. It's the bus that goes to London Bridge. You're fine.
Oh, okay.
It's nothing else. It's just the bus that runs. It runs from Whitechapel to London Bridge. Right. Now I know Chantal, who is ridiculously diligent. Anyway, yes. Come back to my question. Now we've got you on.
Oh yeah, your question.
So the launch, we're sitting there. Then they had this panel, and they're all spouting marketing guff. So I'm like tuning out. And I turned to Lloyd, and I turned to the other chap, Andy Rule, who's a well-known sort of journalist. And I said, am I being particularly thick tonight? I can't actually work out what they're flogging. What are they launching? And the other two I expected to be done on Russell Your Soap. They went, not a clue. We
Really?
didn't know. And we left. I left because it was all very nice, but I had even after listening to the panel, I didn't know what they were trying to launch. It was
Well,
incredible.
Maybe it was Thunderbird 3, but no, at that
I was waiting for that.
stage, you just thought Thunderbirds a go.
They did. I thought Thunderbirds go and dinner is on. Right. What has come across your viewing purview?
Yes, milady.
You know, there's so much new stuff, but I was going to start by telling you a story from 1991, which is a hell of a long time ago. It was the first time I ever clapped eyes on Princess Diana. And it was the charity premiere of a film starring an actor called Adrian Dunbar. And it was called Hear My Song. And it was about an Irish singer called Joseph Locke. And Adrian Dunbar, most of us will know as Hastings from Line of Duty. He is an absolutely wonderful actor. And he appears in this brand new TV show that I'm just about to tell you about from ITV. But at Hear My Song, I was there to try and drum up ticket sales for the charity for the premiere, because Princess Diana was going to be there and they were charging £500 a ticket and goodness knows what, which was all very lovely. And we'd had a meeting about 10 days earlier at Channel 4 where this little charity group got together to sort of plot and plan. And in walked the very famous Michael Grade, who was running Channel 4 at the time, now Lord Grade. And he said, I've got something up my sleeve for the charity premiere. And we're like, ooh, what's that going to be? And we thought, well, hang on, we know.
And he pulled up his sleeve and it was a wart, wasn't it? He's had it removed since then.
No, but actually, Princess Diana did her thing. There was, it was absolutely wonderful. Joseph Locke then comes on the stage, shortly followed by Michael Aspel with the big red book. And actually, what we were witnessing was that moment where This Is Your Life started.
I had no idea. Princess Diana was on This Is Your Life.
Oh, no. She was back in her seat by that stage.
Oh.
Anyway, this is a long preamble to tell you about Adrian Dunbar, who is a great actor who we know most particularly from Line of Duty, but he also wrote and acted in Hear My Song from 1991. And he is in a brand new cop series. It's got to be a cop series. It's ITV. It's prime time. It's bound to be a cop series in something called Ridley. They've made 4 2-hour programs. The first one appeared this week. He is a broken Lancashire copper. We think we've heard this a million times before. And indeed we have. But he is a great actor. He's worth watching just because he's brilliant. But rather weirdly, because they know that he can sing, as featured in the film from 1991, he keeps breaking into song. So they've written a part for him whereby he owns a nightclub and occasionally will turn up at the nightclub and sing at the piano. And it's actually very peculiar. You just think, okay, well, I sort of get it, but I don't really, because it doesn't add that much to the story. And it feels like a bit of an aside. But he's got a great voice and he can play the piano. But it just feels very jarring.
It's odd. He's a great friend of John Altman. I don't mean Al Omar, John Altman. I mean the musician, the fantastic musician. He's just the loveliest man, John Altman. And when John Altman was having a night at the Pizza Express Holborn, which is a very nice venue, by the way, and Adrian Dunbar was his one-on-one guest, and they sang. John Altman played saxophone. Unbelievable. You think, that's Hastings.
Yeah,
that's Hastings.
Anyway, it's good. It's worth watching if you like a sort of a 2-hour, nice, wrapped up, beautifully parceled program. The script is pretty good. The photography is pretty good. It's not the best thing you'll ever see on ITV, but it's a lovely addition to the new schedules for the autumn period on ITV, and that is called Ridley. And he is Inspector Ridley. He's a broken man. His wife has just died.
Of course.
House fire with his
daughter.
Of course. He's had a nervous breakdown.
Naturally.
The
crops have failed in the field. His pickup truck doesn't work. His dog's ill. Anything else?
Yeah, the sheep farmer dies in the
sheep farmer died. They're closing the mine in the village. I mean, Jesus Christ, have they left anything? Some
people have all the luck.
Anyway, if you like that sort of thing, it ain't bad. So that's for you. It's on ITV. It's called Ridley. And then I was actually going to talk about something that you're going to have to see it. I know you haven't got Disney Plus, but you are going to have to buy Disney Plus. It's a football program, and you're going to go, but Chantal doesn't watch football programs other than Ted Lasso, of course, which I adore. But this is different. This is a documentary. There are 2 series. Only the first 4 episodes are out at the moment, and it's about Wrexham Football Club. And I had barely heard of Wrexham Football Club until I watched a piece on the news about 6 months ago saying that Ryan Reynolds, the famous Canadian actor who featured in Deadpool and The Proposal, that Ryan Reynolds and another comedy actor friend of his called Rob McElhenney have bought Wrexham Football Club. I mean, go figure. Why? We don't really know. Why Wrexham? We don't really know that either. Other than the partner, Rob, says it's a bit like Philadelphia. And I'm thinking, does he know Philadelphia? Because I've been to Philadelphia and Wrexham. And to me, they are absolutely diametrically opposed places.
And there's never been a series called It's Always Sunny in Wrexham.
Ah, exactly. Well, Rob McElhenney, you clearly know who he is, American actor who writes and features in a sitcom called It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So, and the story is about the purchase of Wrexham Football Club. What's really interesting is you don't get that much time with Ryan Reynolds. I could spend all day with Ryan Reynolds quite happily because he's jolly easy on the eye. Sorry. Very easy on the eye. And actually, I'm not really a football fan, but I've just watched in the last 24 hours.
You've discovered it's not that bad.
I've watched 4 episodes. I'm really interested. So I'm going to be listening to Eddie Waring on Saturday afternoon, telling me the football scores from.
Is he still alive?
No,
Eddie Waring? It's up and under for Hull Kingston Rovers.
But no, Eddie Waring, he wasn't the guy who did the sports results. He was the rugby guy, wasn't he, Eddie Waring?
He was the rugby guy, Eddie Waring, yeah. Legend he was. I used to love all those guys.
And Chantal, I know that you would rather we told you this so you don't go through the next 20 minutes like this. Your sound has gone a bit distorted. So I feel as though that you may prefer to disconnect and reconnect again just so people can hear you properly. So I'm sorry, but I thought you'd like us to tell you that rather than to go through the next 20 minutes. So I think what we'll do is we'll let Chantal do that. And we'll be back with her in just a ticket, hopefully. But yeah, I thought it's better to say it, really, isn't it? Really, it was a little bit like a torture in some.
Why does the sound go like that? It's a shame because she's. Oh, I wanted to remove that. She's so erudite.
Well, quite. And she's back. So let's try that.
Boom.
Hello.
Let's try that again.
Any better?
Oh, that's so.
Yeah, it's way
better.
better.
Thank goodness.
Way better.
Lovely.
Anyway, so if you
sorry, yes.
No,
back to Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, Disney Plus. They're going to do 2 series, and it's actually worth watching. There's an awful lot about the people of Wrexham, and that's really what makes it, because you get to see these real people and their real passion. And it clearly is a very impoverished town, where life is jolly tough, frankly. But Wrexham is a really big deal for them, the football club. And it's gentle and it's sweet. And yes, there are some good laughs along the way. And we'll wait to see what happens. I have no idea whether they're going up or down or whatever's going to happen at the end of the season. Is there a season?
An unsurprising question coming in from a woman, allegedly.
Yeah. The Phantom.
Is Ryan Reynolds in it?
Oh, yes, he is. He absolutely is in it.
Well, that's her happy then.
Zoom, it has to
that's her glued to the screen.
Mostly on Zoom. Have a look at the promos, the trailers, which are on YouTube, and actually they're very, very funny. It'll give you an idea of the sort of comedic intent of the thing, and that they are very much part of it. And of course, everything's going over budget, and the pitch fails, and everybody has to explain what's going on, and there's a Welsh translator who's translating everything for the Welsh and the Americans. Anyway, it's good.
Sorry, why is there Welsh? Where did the Welsh come in?
Is a Welsh club.
Normally coming about halfway up the M6, I think.
I thought it was like near Nottingham. My geography is shit. I thought it was near Nottingham also. I didn't know where the hell it was.
Wales. It's the oldest.
Wales? Oh, because you spend a lot of time in Wales. I haven't been to Wales in like 30 years.
It's the 3rd oldest football club.
Do you know the most wonderful thing happened to me in Wales? I was there on business.
You came home again.
And I came home again, yes, Leslie. And so rude.
What?
So rude but funny. So I drove up there, And two fantastic things happen. I'm driving through the valleys. I'm all on my own. And suddenly this incredible noise and my car shakes. I'm going back a long time. And, like a jet fighter.
Oh, you hadn't run over a sheep, had
I
you?
had, sod it. But I'd already eaten. I'd already eaten, but I didn't. So I didn't
It
stop.
was a woolly
No,
bumper.
it could just stop. And a jet fighter, was following the valley. Don't encourage him, please, Chantal, please. And it was fantastic watching this thing. The most amazing thing was because the guy knew that I loved literature. So we're there on business. It was heavy duty business stuff. It was nothing to do with entertainment whatsoever. It was another lifetime.
Was it a Mercedes Benz?
We stopped by a graveyard, small graveyard.
Oh, my goodness me.
And he said, come with me. I'm not going to do the Welsh accent because I always sound like I'm Indian. And I don't mean Comanche. So
I don't know why. The Welsh accent isn't that hard to master.
Well, that's because you drink a lot of Welsh whiskey. So I walked up this little
Don't
incline.
start, Chantal. I'm on your side. Remember that.
Incline. And a shaft of sunlight breaks this. I swear to God, never forgotten it. It was a pretty overcast day. It's Wales, when you think. And a shaft of sunlight and hit a wooden cross. And he said, look. And it was the grave of Dylan Thomas. No. But not only had he taken the time and trouble to show me the grave of Dylan Thomas, which was kind of awesome, but I couldn't get over this one shaft of sunlight. Just as I was standing there, just hit the cross. It was amazing. It was a beautiful experience. Really nice. Yeah, it was nice. Well, there we go. That's my Welsh story. That's all I've got.
Well, there we
go.
I've got nothing else. Can I ask you a question, Chantal? I know you've seen a lot of things. I really would like your professional. No, it's not one of my jokes.
Okay.
And I always come out of left field. There's a show that I watch, which I think I'm the only person in the UK who does. It's on every night, called Gutfeld. Gutfeld. He's an ex. And it's a talk show. It's pretty out there, all right? His name's Greg Gutfeld, and he was not a stand-up comedian. People say, well, and I watched interviews with him. They say, was I a stand-up? No. He was an editor. He was an editor of a lot of heavy-duty magazines. And now he does this nightly show. And for the first time ever, this little show tucked away on Fox has beaten the mainline network late-night shows in ratings.
No.
Never been done before. Yeah, killed it. And I'm just wondering, that is so interesting, because the whole show looks like it costs... It's a kind of more deluxe version of what we do here. It's really not that much. Well, they've got a small live audience. He does have a staff of writers. I mean, he's talked about that, because he always does a very blistering opening monologue where you sit there going, oh, and then every now and then he nails it. I'm just fascinated. Is that a trend that you saw that could be coming?
I didn't see it as a trend. I've never heard of the guy.
I know.
I don't know who he is, but I'm going to look it up.
You won't like it. You will.
I don't understand.
You will hate it. You will phone me and go, "How dare you make me sit through 30 seconds of the Gutfeld show?"
No, but that's interesting, because I want to know why you think I'll hate it. So, what is it about it that you think is?
It's very right. You won't like it.
I don't understand though. Why is it that these American shows, these late night shows, are so popular in America, and yet over here they've always flopped?
It's part of the DNA since before Johnny Carson's run of 30-40 years. Before Johnny Carson, you had Jack Parr. I'm fascinated by these things. Then you had Jay Leno, and then you got Conan O'Brien, and then you got Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon. We don't have that as part.
Letterman as well.
Letterman when he was at the top. We don't have that as part of our DNA. The DNA in America is, one, they go to bed much earlier. They eat dinner much earlier than we do in Europe and in the UK. They go to bed much earlier than we do in Europe and the UK. And they go to bed, they've all got TVs in their bedroom, and they watch the late night show. And they've done that since the days of Jack Parr in the 1950s. Yeah. We don't have that, because all the shows, all they've tried to do here is emulate and take that as a template. Jonathan Ross we'd never heard of David Letterman. And Jonathan Ross's show with his lists and everything, he's admitted all they did was took a photocopy of the David Letterman show, and everyone goes, oh, isn't Jonathan Ross clever? No, he really wasn't clever. All he did was took somebody, because we didn't have cable. We didn't see these shows that were huge. He did.
Yeah.
Anyone could have done that.
The Last Resort at that stage, I think, was the last thing on Channel 4 at night.
That
know,
was it. So, so the answer, the kind of long-winded answer to your question, it's not in our national psyche, but it is in the American thing. It's huge. Late night shows are huge. They are
well,
the biggest money earners on the channels, apart from things like Friends.
I would take issue with the word huge, because huge to us, with big audience figures, and our country have far bigger audience figures than in America. Their audience figures are low. I mean, the James Corden show gets, I think, 1 to 1.5 million people only watching the show. So they're not big figures.
Wow. And all that ego for a million viewers.
Yeah.
Gracious.
1 million viewers in a country with 360 million people.
Exactly.
Jesus. Remember,
Just seeing this reminds me of the time when I dressed up as the Duracell bunny and got charged with attempted battery.
Oh, very funny.
how steep, Chantal, is Mount Kilimanjaro?
Phil should be in comedy. I mean, I've always
He
said
really
it.
should be. And he's falling down. He'll go, I'm okay so far. I'm okay. They're loving it so far.
I'm still standing.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Right, what
It's
else?
all good.
Anyway, so before my battery runs out, because I'm going to have to then swap back to the other one, because I've got 5% left on the iPad.
Oh.
So ITV, you know, why have one crime thriller series when you can have two? So they brought another one out this week. This is with the gorgeous Aidan Turner, who we know from
Poldark.
Poldark, well done. Just gone from my mind. The lovely Poldark. And the series is called The Suspect. So you've got Aidan Turner and something called The Suspect. So I'm sort of leading you to understanding what's going to be happening in this crime thriller.
Has he got his shirt off again? That seems to be what got him the figures
Is he
in
in a field with a
Poldark.
scythe? Because otherwise the women won't be watching.
No shirt off. Not that I've seen yet anyway.
You've been looking out for it, have you?
He's got binoculars ready.
Anyway, I'm beginning to think there is only one script, and we could all probably write it. He is a psychologist.
I'm going wild. I'm going out. He's a troubled person. I'm taking a wild guess.
No, actually, he's not a troubled person, but clearly, because the title of the show is called The Suspect, then this wonderful life that we think he's got is probably built on a hill of sand.
The Phil Dave story.
Yes, and so there is a murder of a prostitute. He happens to be writing a book about sex workers, but somehow we keep coming back to this title, The Suspect. I'm not saying another thing because it will give the whole thing away. I've only watched the first episode. I think there are 5 episodes to come. So that's another one. If crime drama is your thing, ITV are chucking it out there on the channel at the moment.
Excellent. Thank you very
And
much.
smutty Leslie Demeter, Aidan in Being Humour, got me heavily to vampire fantasy. There's so many gags there, Lely, and I'm not doing any of them, not even I am.
Because they all suck. Now, look, can I just say, I've got a bit of a problem going on here at the moment. I feel like it's important to share, because this is what this program's about. It's all about sharing your feelings and your issues and trying to resolve.
Oh, God, now what?
Since I've moved, right, the scent of the house has changed. I feel like for starters, there are some new diffusers, okay, that have come into play here.
Really?
You don't like them.
New
don't
diffusers.
Like.
And to top it all off, right, there's some rose-scented soap in the kitchen.
God,
I don't know where
Jesus
that's come from, right?
Christ.
But I've now got a situation where my hands smell like a drawer liner, and I'm not sure how to tackle this. But it's not very pleasant. And
You see, the moment you've left, the whole standard of the Dave household has tumbled like the Roman Empire.
it's just shocking. But I rest my hand here a lot, you see, because so when I was younger, I was bitten by a dog, and I've got a scar on my lip. So my natural pose is that, just to hide it. I've done it for a very long time.
All the years I've known him, I'd never seen until he said, "What do you think? What do you look?" And I said, "I'm not." He said, "You're looking at my scar." I said, "What scar?" He actually said, "What scar?" And then we had to go into this whole scar.
Anyway, the point is that I sit like this, and every time I sit like this now, and I breathe in, and gagging. It's horrible.
I think, Chantal, you're going to see me in a whole new light, because I'm going to tell you what I did. And I think
he bought a ring light.
I've got a ring light. I think you're going to be surprised and slightly impressed.
Okay.
I deadheaded all the lavender outside. and I bought little tiny Muslim
Little muslin bags with the drawers.
muslin bags. Little tiny muslin bags, and I put the heads of the lavender in. They're in the drawers.
So
What do you think of that? You wouldn't think I'd do that.
I do
would you?
apologise to my learned friend of any offence caused. Anyway.
So your underpants are now going to smell of lavender.
Luckily, I'm surrounded by my fans. But anyway.
My pants, my sweaters, t-shirt, it's all going to be lovely. Look, I'll show you. Hang on.
What?
God knows.
They're really good. I was really happy with it and impressed that I could do anything quite so practical. Look. See, little bags. What do you think of that? All right, there we are.
Goodness. Who gave them to you? Annette. Paul Claridge. Phil, if you don't like the smells in your parents' house, do something spectacular, like buying your own home and living in it.
Living in it.
Well, Paul, let me tell you something. That's not a bad idea.
Chantal, isn't it typical as parents, as you and I are parents, that you do everything from the child, they live at you within your largesse.
I'm on the case.
And then they just moan. They come back and they moan.
I know.
But they're living in your home.
I know.
Bloody cheek. That's what I say. And every other parent is nodding at the moment. They're nodding.
Oh, leave me alone. I'm a bit wired. Oh, sorry.
God's sake.
This is going downhill.
Phil, can I just say something? When you're God knows how many 10,000 million feet up
on
Mount
your bike. What? Sorry.
If you do these gags and irritate the rest of the climbers up Mount Kilimanjaro, you do realize here we just put up with it. There, they could do a little nudge. You're gone. You're
Over
gone.
the edge. Yeah. I do know this.
Do we have time to listen to Chantal? Have I got to listen to you and your ridiculous Tim Vine routine?
Tim Vine routine?
It is Tim Vine.
I
bought a rubber front door. Well, you can't knock it. Right. Okay. What have you got anything else?
I used to live in a teapot. I know what you're thinking. Poor you.
God's sake. Oh, Christ. Right. Anything else you've seen that you've liked?
One more only.
Yes, that's fine. One more only. Would be
She
good.
got the energy for any more.
Given up the will to live, I think.
Give Uncoupled on Netflix a try.
Really? Because I've seen it flash up and it's not appealed to me. Do you think it's worth it?
It's Sex in the City with gay guys. It's New York, 20 years after Sex in the City. It's the same writer. It's the writer from Sex in the City and the writer from Modern Family. So the heritage is bloody excellent.
Yeah.
Slow burn. The jokes are not quite as gaggy. They're not quite as quick as Sex and the City.
Yeah.
I think it's going to build over time. I watched the first couple and I sort of think I'll go back and watch more. It's Neil Patrick Harris, who plays a gay guy who's been in a stable relationship for 17 years, takes his boyfriend out for his 50th birthday and it all collapses. And the story,
I love Neil Patrick Harris. Is fantastic, isn't he? Great.
Give it a try. You might like it. It might not be your thing. It's not nearly as shocking as Sex and the City was when I first watched it 22 years ago. And it was truly shocking and it really pushed boundaries. This is more gentle. You know, times have changed massively. So you can't just get a gag because of somebody's, sexuality in the way that you might.
No, you can't. No, that would be. I mean, that even for me, that would be completely crass.
See if you like it. It's on Netflix all over the world. So Elizabeth Green, if you're watching in New York, you can get it too. It's your town, and you might like it. See what you think.
And as a finishing note, Ramsey's one. He says, I rang up my local swing bars. I said, is that the local swing bars? He said, it depends where you're calling from.
Very good.
Oh, what's this? What's this? Cassidy Jansen, who we love, once snogged Neil Patrick Harris.
Really?
Hang on a second.
And
Neither of them to answer that.
It would have converted me. Blimey. Cassidy, I love Cassidy Jansen.
Well,
talented and gorgeous and lovely,
Well.
lovely, charming person. Chantal, thank you. Please join me next week. It'll be Phil free.
Yeah, you'll be able to get a word in Edgeway. Thank you.
Please keep posted. I want to know how it's going.
Well, like I said, there is someone that she's going to be documenting it all, so hopefully it should be available to watch and laugh at in due course.
Right.
Anyway,
I can't.
thank you.
I
I'll
actually
try.
can't wait to see this. This is just. It's unbelievable. Listen, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Chantal, thank you so much. Buy plenty of mugs while you're down at your brother's. Enjoy the barbecue. Phil, please be safe. Try not to let anything happen. We'll be back Monday. Till then, bye, everybody.